everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Shudder Slaughterhouse. I'm Daniel. And I hope you guys had a great holiday weekend. Hope you guys had the full 4 days off. If you didn't, my heart goes out to you. I'm not going to lie, I'm a man who enjoys a 4-day weekend, so living it up over here. But no, I hope you guys had a great one right there. And and if anybody's wondering about last week, 2 weeks ago when I aired, you guys saw the screen was blurred out behind me. And that's because, even though I didn't realize, I never really shot with a TV running behind me. But apparently, last week, From Beyond was the movie I was playing back here on the Shudder TV. And apparently that was a no-go. I was flagged right there on YouTube. So I pixelated it down as much as I could, or, make it less visible where I can still pass, and hopefully you can see what it was. But I don't know if anybody caught that or not, but that was what was happening right there. So it was just like Fox. I was like, there is no Fox anymore. It's fucking Disney. Come on. Are you kidding me right now? But that's besides the point, guys. We got 2 movies I want to talk about this week that I watched on Shudder. The first one is The Blood of Wolves. This is 2018. It's a Japanese film. And the basic premise behind this movie is you got these 2 detectives back in the 80s. During this huge, Yakuza blood war, 2 factions just going at each other. And, they're trying to investigate the disappearance of some guy who worked at some kind of accounting firm, and he goes missing. And so they're trying to, investigate that. And you find out that the older detective, he may have some ties to one of these families. And furthermore, he's a bit rough around the edges. He kind of, he definitely plays by his own rules. Definitely does a lot of illegal stuff to get the answers he wants. I should mention this is subtitled for those who don't like to read. I won't say you can't read. That seems mean. But I know a lot of people out there don't like reading their movies and whatever. Just know, you keep doing that, you're going to put yourself in a little box and you won't be able to enjoy great movies out there. This being one of them. So, but it is subtitled. But I want to throw out there right now, this is not horror or even horror adjacent. Every now and then you'll get movies on Shudder that are kind of they feel like they're should be part of the genre, Takashi Miike, any of his films, even Dead or Alive he did, not a horror film, definitely crime, but it has that genre vibe, it just feels like it belongs in a horror collection, whereas this one is strictly action crime. It has some humor, it definitely has some over-the-top violence, but it really doesn't feel anything close to a horror film at all. With that said, though, I really like this movie. I thought it was really solid. It does keep you guessing. And I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of confused early on about who was who, because, it's really fast-paced, and we're jumping back and forth between not just both crime families, but also the police that are, tracking them down. But, I don't know. I thought it was a really solid movie. Like I said, I'm a big fan of, 80s cop buddy movies anyway, so it just seemed like this is a perfect fit with a different twist on it. And, really enjoyed it. There's a few twists in there that I think you'll see kind of coming. I ain't gonna say they telegraph it way far in advance, but as you get closer to the reveal, you're like, yeah, that's probably where they're gonna go with this. And sure enough, that's exactly what it is. I won't say too much. Like I said, in these mini reviews, I don't like to go too far in depth into these, but I do think you guys ought to check it out. The Shudder community has awarded this 4 out of 5 skulls, and I'm gonna agree with them. I think this is definitely worth every bit of that, worth checking out. I did not write down the director's name, but I am curious to see what else he's done or what else he will do in the future. But The Blood of Wolves, and that's my watch of the week, by the way. The 2 I've watched, I'm going to say check that one out right there. But up next, it's a Shudder exclusive. It's a film called Porno. Came out last year. The basic premise here is you got these, it's 5 kids that work at this theater, and it has a very big Christian vibe running through this whole thing. I don't know if the town's just predominantly Christian or if these are just 5 kids that come from Christian families, but there is a big Christian theme that runs through this, and they end up finding this old film in the basement that winds up releasing this succubus that, kind of touches on the taboo of sex, and violence for that matter. It gets a little bloody. So I was intrigued. I'm not gonna lie. I know it's 2020 and, men aren't really allowed to be pigs anymore, but with a title like Porno, I was like, yeah, we're going to see some titties. And we did. We do get some titties in this. So you do get some titties. Don't think you don't. You do. But with a title like Porno, I guess I was expecting it to be a little bit more explicit, and it really isn't. In fact, I think the title Porno is very misleading, only because, without giving too much away, spoiler alert, they're not really watching a porno. It's like an old, cursed movie. And I just feel like you could call this movie Succubus, and it would have made more sense, because I'm expecting to see some kind of raunchy teen horror comedy, and it doesn't really go that far. On top of that, I don't know. I didn't care for the story as much. Like, and maybe I'm just not a Christian, and I'm not saying that has to factor in anything. I'm not Catholic, and I enjoy The Exorcist, and I can get in on that. But it just felt like these characters were just really stupidly written. I didn't like any of them hardly. The one girl, the only girl in the movie, I liked her. And don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about acting wise. Acting wise, I think the kids did great. I'm just talking about character wise. It's just like, I don't know. The way they act just kind of gets my nerves, and I'm just kind of like, I hope they all fucking die. Like, I was rooting for the Succubus at one point. Like, I just hope they take him out. There is one scene, I won't give anything away, but one of the characters gets his. What do I want to say? He gets his groin mutilated. Well, let's go there. I'll stop right there. I won't go any further. But my God, they show it in pretty crazy detail. And I will say, the entire movie, which I was kind of zoning out of sometimes, it was awful. That was something that really perked me. Like, holy shit! Like, they went for that. Like, that's what they go for right there. Some of the death scenes were pretty cool, but or the violence, but it was just like, I don't know. Overall, this didn't clinch me like I was hoping. I was really hoping this was going to be. Hey, I was hoping for more explicit sex, and I'm sorry. I know that that should never be a factor when you're watching horror. There are tons of horror films without sex in it that are great. So obviously, I'm not just some 13-year-old kid. But with the fucking title like Porno, I was like, all right, we're gonna get this hardcore fucking tits and sleaze. I hope for more sleaze. That's the word I'm looking for. I was looking for more sleaze with this movie, and there was no sleaze to be found. And the kids just were too squeaky clean for my taste and annoying. I think that's the other thing. I really wanted more relatable kids. Kids I could be like, hey, I remember I was like that when I was a kid. And it's just like, no, not one of these guys was like anybody I hung out with. They were the nerds. They were the losers. I don't know. Anyways, Porno, the Shudder community gave them, they're right on 4 out of 5. Are you fucking kidding me? This is 2 out of 5 skulls max, and I'm being generous. I was going to give a little bit more because I was like, well, the girl who does get neck in there, pretty good. And they didn't discriminate. You get a little dong. Anybody who's missing out some pickle, you get some pickle as well. So it's a little something for the ladies as well. But not enough to really, I don't know. It didn't go far enough, I guess. And I don't know. I just felt like the story could have been a little bit darker, and kids could have had a little bit more edge to them, but it just, I don't know, it just came off like, so yeah, middle of the road, and then the more I thought about it, I was like, let's bring it down a little bit. So I'm saying 2 out of 5. So yeah, that is The Blood of Wolves. I highly recommend, check it out. And Porno, you can probably miss it, you can probably skip it. But I'm the kind of guy also who thinks like, even if I don't like it, you could check it out, because who knows, it may be your kind of thing. You may be like, yes, this is the movie I've been waiting for my whole life. Yay. But it is funny because there's a friend of mine on Twitter, and kind of the reason I watched it actually, because she said she was watching it, and I was like, ooh, because I remember the trailer, and I do remember thinking like, all right, cool, I'll check it out or come across it. Well, I came across it, and so I was like, well, how was it? And I caught her to the very beginning, and she's like, I don't know yet, I'll let you know. And then like that midway through, she's just like, yeah, I'm about midway through, and this is forgettable, like honestly. And I was like, oh shit. And sure enough, she was right. Like it was just like, But yeah, it's just my opinion. If you guys have seen either of these movies, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of them. Maybe I'm an asshole. Maybe you guys thought Porno was really great, and I would love to hear your actual thoughts on it. And same with The Blood of the Wolves, or The Blood of Wolves. If you've seen it, let me know what you think about it. So that's all I got, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Tune in next week.